Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to continue our discussion on the laws of exponents and simplifying expressions with negative and zero exponents. If you would like, you can pause the video and work the problem before we actually discuss it, if you'd like to test yourself on it. Okay, so as we discussed in the previous video, when you have b to the power of 4 and b to the power of 6, and the bases are the same, and you're multiplying, you just add the exponents. So the answer here would be b to the power of 10. Okay, the next problem is division. And we learned that when you're dividing bases that have exponents, you're simply going to subtract. So we don't see an exponent in the denominator, but you remember also we discussed that any number raised to the power of 1 was in fact itself. So any number to the power of 1 is that number. So you can also say that every number has an implied power of 1. So let's just put a 1 right here. X has an implied power of 1. So we're going to do x to the 5th power minus 1. And our answer is going to be x to the 4th power. Okay, the third problem is also done the same way, except it's easy. E to the power of 100 minus 25. And our final answer is going to be e to the power of 75. Okay, the next problem, actually I'm going to rewrite this and we're going to do a different one. I don't like that. Okay, let's do m to the power of 6 raised to the power of 5. Okay, and as we discussed already, when you're raising a power to another power, you are going to multiply those two powers, and so our answer here is m to the power of 30. 8 to the power of 0 is going to be 1. And this is anything raised to the power of 0. Okay, and below it we have a negative sign in front, so we will raise the power and then apply the negative sign afterwards, and we have a negative 1. And the next one we're looking at is negative 2 raised to the power of a negative 2. So whenever you have a negative exponent, you know that you can't have a negative exponent. So we need to take it and we need to put it in the denominator. We need to write the reciprocal of that, and when we put the negative exponent in the denominator, it will become positive. So this is how that is done. 1 over negative 2 to the power of 2. When you have this here, it's implied that it's all over 1. Every number is like that. Every number pretty much has is pretty much a fraction, even though we don't think of it that way. Every number is pretty much a fraction anyways. So you write it out as a fraction and then you flip it upside down. And after you do that, the number, if the number is negative, it will stay negative, but the exponent will become positive. Okay, we're not done yet though. 2 to the power of 2 equals negative 2 times negative 2. And that equals 4. but you will remember this is a fraction. Okay, so the final answer is going to be a positive 1/4. Okay, the next one is x to the power of -1 times y to the power of 3, and this is in parentheses, and it's all raised to the power of -2. So what you can do is you can use the power of a power rule and multiply each of these powers times the power on the outside. So that would give you x to the power of 8, y to the power of -6, and you cannot have a negative exponent. What you're supposed to do with that is to make a fraction. The fraction is already implied. So you will put the negative exponent in your denominator. And the x to the 8th stays at the top. Y to positive 6 will be in the bottom. And that's your final answer. Okay, we have one more. 2 to the power of 4 times x to the power of -3 times y to the power of -4 over x to the power of -6, all raised to the power of -3. Boy, you've got to love these, man. Okay, so let's start with, we have the power to a power rule here. So let's raise all of the powers to the power on the outside. So we're going to have 2 to the power of 4 times -3 is what? That's -12. And you're going to have x to the power of -3 times -3 is a positive 9. And then you're going to have y to the power of -4 times -3 is a positive 12. So that's your new numerator. And don't forget, something is already in the denominator and it has a power. So let's raise that power to the power on the outside. And -6 times -3 is going to be a positive 18. Okay, are we done? Well, we have the same term on the top in the numerator that we have on the bottom, and that's x. Okay, so we can simplify this further. So x is raised to the power of 9. So the only way we can simplify this, and in fact it has to be done because most answers are just in their simplest form. So we'll do x to the power of 9 minus 18 in order to simplify that. And after we do that, this will be gone. Let me get the red. This will be gone. And this will be gone. But it will be x to the power of -9, because 9 minus 18 is -9. And we will have that -9 in the numerator at the top, which is not allowed. So we'll just rewrite it. We have 2 to the power of -12, y to the power of positive 12, and we're going to put our -9, x to the power of -9, in the denominator as x to the power of 9. And you think, well, can this become any more simplified? Yes, it can. Okay. The 2 also has a negative exponent, so we have to put that in the denominator. and it will be to the power of positive 12. Okay, we can simplify that further by simply multiplying 2 times 12, and so the final answer will be, I always run out of room, boy. The final answer will be y to the power of 12 over 4096 times x to the power of 9. And there you have it. And you should be seeing a lot of those types of problems in an algebra class. Okay, so this was our last exponents discussion. And I haven't looked at what we're going to do next, but you know what? I promise that it will be something exciting. How about that? So please like the video, subscribe, and whatnot, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.